This fight with Poirier is trending bigger than the fight with you and Conor on pay-per-view. Imagine what you and Conor would do in another fight. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Ну, свой пик он давно прошел. У каждого человека есть свой пик. И он ее давно прошел. Так что должен был он с Аспиналом драться или нет, это вопрос, ну, может быть, будет всегда стоять. В данный момент, да, для меня Аспинал лучший тяжеловес мира.
It is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the pride of Wigan, the one and only Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall, na. Tommy Aspinall, Tommy. Defending his undisputed gold, technically for the very first time, against the pride of France, the French prince himself, Bon Gamin himself, the one and only Cyril Gane. These two have been going back and forth for the better part of 2, maybe 3 years. Well, this was the fight that we all thought was going to happen in Tom's official first title defense, and so it is in fact going to happen. Tom wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. That was the sense that we got when he became undisputed champion. He didn't want to wait for New York. Let's be honest, the tax is a little better over there in Abu Dhabi compared to New York for an Englishman, for anyone, if we're being 100% honest. And so he wanted to be active. He wanted to fight in October. He wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. It's closer to home, and so they oblige. And you'll recall a few weeks ago I said it's looking like Magomed and Alex, October 4th. It's looking like Tom versus Cyril, October 25th. And it's looking like JDM versus Islam in New York. That would be the next pay-per-view. Now, that hasn't been officially announced. That hasn't been signed, sealed, and delivered. But at this point, I would be surprised, considering how the chips just fell earlier today. I would be surprised if it doesn't play out that way.
Khabib Nurmagomedov is in the news again, and this time not in relation to his team or coaching. In his recent interview, he discussed Ilya Topuria by stating that he doesn't believe Ilya can be the next Conor McGregor.
Вместо Конора Илья Топурия может быть?
Не, он хороший парень.
Да.
Пытается быть кем-то. Сразу же видно. Не, я не думаю. Интерес противостояний, стилей, там, бойцов, чемпионов, может быть. Но такого, знаешь, как нет. И Ислам тоже.
Возможно, да.
И Ислам хороший парень.
Not one to retreat, Conor McGregor struck back on Twitter in typical Conor fashion, shrill, brash, and biting. His tweet had fans hyped like anything. It was like the good old days again, as if the rivalry was waking up after years of slumber. Before we knew it, people began asking, are we indeed going to witness Conor versus Khabib too? The atmosphere was charged, and the internet went wild with reactions, memes, and breakdowns. That single tweet could have ignited the start of another legendary buildup. Things got crazier when an old video was released with Dana White speaking to Khabib, obviously attempting to persuade him to fight once more. You could tell how much Dana wanted it, and really, who wouldn't? This would be one of the most massive fights in the history of UFC. Fans saw the video and lost it. Was this all part of some master plan? Was Dana behind the scenes making it happen? The discussion just got more vocal from there.
This fight with Poirier is trending bigger than the fight with you and Conor on pay-per-view. Imagine what you and Conor would do in another fight. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen both were questioned whether Khabib retired too soon, and they concurred. Yes, 100%. They opined that Khabib quit while he was still at his best, with a lot of fights remaining in him. He was not slowing down, he was not losing. Instead, he was improving. DC mentioned how smart Khabib was as a fighter, and Chael added that it's rare to see someone walk away that early. They weren't just fans speaking, they knew the game inside and out.
Way too soon. I thought Khabib could have been fighting today, and there's a chance, because I mean, Islam is a bit of an extension of who he was. But to know them is to know that when his dad passed, it took a lot away from him. And so when he decided, I'm going to do something different, you know, mom's like, hey, you and your father started this journey together. I don't want you to do it without him. If he made that promise, I knew it was over.
And I will tell you this, when the UFC started to negotiate with Khabib, they started adding zeros and commas and bigger checks and Conor Part 2. The UFC missed it. That wasn't the number they needed to change. The number they needed to change was a 155-pound weight class to a 170-pound weight class. You would have gone Khabib versus Conor 2. It wasn't that he didn't want to fight and he didn't want to fight Conor. I don't believe that. He didn't want to beat the scale anymore. And that's the one thing that the company did miss.
He retired too early, yeah.
Dana White echoed their thoughts in another interview. He said he always respected Khabib's choice, but deep down, he believed Khabib still had more to give. Dana said if Khabib ever changed his mind, he'd be ready. No pressure, but the door would always be open. It wasn't hype either. Dana's tone indicated he actually believed the UFC could benefit from having someone like Khabib on board right now, given how things are changing in the lightweight and welterweight divisions.
Khabib has more money than he'll ever spend. He doesn't need to fight again. He sort of lost the desire when his father passed away. It was a father-son thing he had with his dad. He is truly happy for Islam, and he is fulfilled enough that was his dad's dream, that Khabib would reign, then would come Islam, and it's all playing out exactly the way they planned it.
But Khabib does not appear to be interested in returning, regardless of what others say. He's completely dedicated to training his fighters, particularly Islam Makhachev, who's preparing to fight Jack Della Maddalena. Khabib's drive is all channeled into his team. He's no longer chasing the limelight. He's become the type of coach who works his guys hard, pushes them to the limits, and demands greatness. He doesn't speak about legacy, he creates it through them.
Считаю, что Мадалена самый сложный соперник в ислама карьере. Это мое мнение. Ни Чарльз, никто. Ни один из этих бойцов.
И даже не Илья, если бы это бой был бы.
Ну, мое личное мнение, во-первых, Мадалена 2 раза больше, чем Илья.
Сопоставим.
Илья. Он 2 раза больше. Он выше, больше, ноги помощные, корпус, бокс не хуже. И грэпплинг он возится очень хорошо, если вы смотрели. Для меня, если я например, буду готовить Ислама против Илья или Мадалины, для меня больше будет волновать и волнует Мадалена.
Even Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse himself, stated that Khabib is one of the hardest coaches out there. He stated Khabib pushes his team in ways most fighters wouldn't even realize. It's not about tough workouts, although it does involve that. It's about discipline, structure, and non-stop concentration. Khabib wants his guys to be smarter, sharper, and tougher than anyone else in the octagon. And when a legend like Mighty Mouse speaks about that, you know it's true.
You know, I think we drilled after that, and then the next day they came back and it was even a longer grind session. I'm like, you guys do this every single day? He goes, yes, brother, for 8 weeks. Sacrifices. You want to be the best? I'm like, nah, I don't want to be the best. I'm done with that shit. Y'all can have it. But just to experience it, you know, and seeing what the best pound for pound fighter in the world feels like, and he hit me with that Darce 2 times.
Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman also shared about the upcoming bout and how good Islam appears under Khabib's leadership. Cejudo analyzed Islam's movement and technique, whereas Usman spoke more about his mindset and cage control. Both admire how Khabib has transitioned into this mentorship role. They both stated that Islam has become better in ways only possible through training with someone who's reached the very top.
I think Islam Makhachev is going to beat him. I think he's going to become the 11th double champ in UFC history.
Islam tweeted, keep it shiny, keep it nice for me. JDM, I mean, it was kind of like the perfect comeback. He was just like, yeah, come get it.
Keep my belt clean. Okay, so the talking has begun, dude. That fight is set. That fight's going to take place in October, Abu Dhabi. I think we all know that. We're no longer going to get Ilya versus Islam Makhachev just now.
But things turned when Khabib made a comment about John Jones. He said Jones is over the hill, and that ruffled feather. Many people were in shock. Of course, Jones hasn't competed much in recent times, and yeah, he's said to be slowing down, but for Khabib to say it, that resonated differently. Some were with him, citing Jones's age and injuries. Others averred that Khabib was mistaken, and that John has greatness remaining in him. Either point of view, however, sparked social media debate.
Ну, свой пик он давно прошел. У каждого человека есть свой пик, и он ее давно прошел. Так что должен был он с Аспиналом драться или нет, это вопрос, может быть, будет всегда стоять. В данный момент, да, для меня Aspinall лучший тяжеловес мира.
John Jones wasn't shy either. He replied that he still wants to fight Tom Aspinall, on the White House card no less. It sounded mad, but Jones was serious. He said how much he would love a fight like that. The prospect of Jones versus Aspinall at such a major event had fans salivating. It was risky, sensational, and all that MMA fans crave, but not everyone was convinced it was feasible.
Hey, so they've announced this White House UFC fight. What do you think about that?
I think it's exciting. Very exciting.
Can we expect to see you on the card?
I can't promise anyone anything, but I have a very strong feeling that I'll be on that card.
But who would you take on? Who would be your dream opponent?
I would want to take on whoever's holding the belt at the end of the year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any possible names you think?
Well, I mean, as of right now, the champion is Tom Aspinall, but we'll see who's the champion at the end of the year. And I feel like it'd be only fitting to have an American guy fight for the championship that night, and I'd be willing to put it all on the line.
Nice.
Dana White killed those hopes quickly. During an interview, he stated that he did not believe it was a good idea. He sensed that Jones was more of a risk than a return. The injuries, the absences, the uncertainty, it all totaled up. Dana was not willing to wager a big card on a fighter that he could not completely rely upon, and when Dana talks so definitively, it generally means the decision is already made.
John Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion is at that time. But would you be okay with him like coming back and potentially winning that belt again, and you might have to go through?
Well, it's not even about him winning the belt. I mean, you know, I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially the White House card.
Daniel Cormier was questioned on that, and though he didn't completely agree with Dana, he gets the point. DC knows what John is capable of, but he also gets reality. Jones isn't the same Jones that he used to be. Nevertheless, DC stated no one can deny what Jones has already accomplished. Love him or despise him, John's legacy is cemented, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the UFC needs to risk everything on him now.
Question for DC.
Yes, sir.
I saw John Jones, it's back in the testing pool.
Yes.
Talking about going on the White House card.
Yes.
I think with his extensive criminal record, the Secret Service will let him on the White House grounds.
That's such a good question.
That's actually a good question. Well, we always have to pass background checks when Trump's there and he got the fight, so I'd imagine he will be. And I gotta be honest with you. All right, so listen. All right. No disrespect to anyone here. I love you guys so much. You can go to the White House and I'm positive you'll win, right? But if we really need an American to win, right, gotta kind of send John Jones, don't we? I mean, seriously, like, I mean, I don't want to do it. Like, I don't like him, but it's like, if we need an American to win, don't we just send the guy that always wins?
Yeah, no, he's going.
And he said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And nobody tries harder than me. Are you sure John Jones doesn't try a little harder than I do?
I don't know. It's close.
It's close. It's close.
MMA Guru also had his say, and he was in complete agreement with Dana. He stated the UFC needs to invest in creating new stars and looking ahead, rather than clinging to past legends. He commended the decision to support Aspinall and stated that bringing him in for big fights is the correct decision. Guru was adamant. He believes the future lies with the newbies, not the veterans.
Shout out to Dana White for saying, I can't have John Jones on the White House card. If I was Tom Aspinall, I was like, he's not worthy to fight me. He's not worthy.
Yeah.
You just retired. You need to work your way back up and get a title shot.
I hear Dana's point on not letting John Jones in the fucking White House, 100%. Absolutely hear his point. I get it. You know what I mean? You don't want the first lady getting a black eye. So, weave, Melania, weave.
With the UFC fighting the White House, I bet you they'll put ice on Tom Aspinall.
And Dana agrees. He's already arranging fresh bouts for Tom Aspinall. Cyril Gane is a name that's being thrown around a lot, not a glimpse of John Jones anywhere in those discussions. Dana's making plans for upcoming events without him, and that says it all. You can see evidently that he views Tom as the next big name in the heavyweight division, and he's not waiting.
It is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the pride of Wigan, the one and only Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall, na 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 na. Tommy Aspinall, Tommy, defending his undisputed gold, technically for the very first time against the pride of France, the French prince himself, Bon Gamin himself, the one and only Cyril Gane. These two have been going back and forth for the better part of 2, maybe 3 years. Well, this was the fight that we all thought was going to happen in Tom's official first title defense, and so it is in fact going to happen. Tom wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. That was the sense that we got when he became undisputed champion. He didn't want to wait for New York. Let's be honest, the tax is a little better over there in Abu Dhabi compared to New York for an Englishman, for anyone, if we're being 100% honest. And so he wanted to be active. He wanted to fight in October. He wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. It's closer to home, and so they oblige. And you'll recall a few weeks ago I said it's looking like Magomed and Alex, October 4th. It's looking like Tom versus Cyril, October 25th. And it's looking like JDM versus Islam in New York. That would be the next pay-per-view. Now, that hasn't been officially announced. That hasn't been signed, sealed, and delivered. But at this point, I would be surprised, considering how the chips just fell earlier today. I would be surprised if it doesn't play out that way.
When Tom Aspinall was questioned about all of it, he remained calm. He didn't speak trash or attempt to create drama. He merely said he's ready. He has faith in himself, and he's willing to take on whatever big fight comes his way. With his title as champion, his confidence is felt as earned. Fans appreciate that, and that's one reason he's finding fans so quickly.
How do you think you match up against Cyril?
I better be careful, apparently. Yeah. I think I match up pretty well against him. I think I'm equally as fast as him. I move equally as well. The difference is I can grapple. I've got a lot of power. And I think that's pretty undeniable at this stage of my career. I've got a lot of knockouts on my record, mate. I have to touch you once, and I wasn't even throwing heavy tonight. I thought it was going to be a 5-rounder. I didn't mean to knock him out. I was pretty sure that was going to be a 5-round fight tonight, and just takes one shot, mate, at heavyweight, especially with me throwing him.
Michael Bisping contributed even further to the build-up. He stated he completely supports Tom to beat anyone, even the legends. Bisping is very confident in Aspinall, and when one of his caliber gives that type of endorsement, people sit up and take notice. It's certain that Tom is on the rise quickly, and he's doing so with the blessings of some of the greatest thinkers in the sport.
We've seen him take people down. He's done jiu-jitsu since he was about 15 years old. His dad is going to be on his case, and that's an absolute fact. Saying, hey, you're not messing with this guy. Take him down, show him what you can do, show the world your grappling capability. Remember, Cyril Gane turned Francis Ngannou into a wrestler, okay? So he's a very, very credible threat on the feet. But of course, I do fancy Tom Aspinall to get the job done.
This entire ordeal is crazy, from Khabib's interview to Conor's tweet to the John Jones controversy. It's like we're witnessing the old world go away and a new one emerge. Khabib's training, Conor's tweeting, Jones's future uncertain, and Tom Aspinall in the middle of everything. If you're enjoying this fight world drama and you want to stay up to date, click that subscribe button now. There's more chaos coming your way.